Astrofolk. It's now 6:28 on the 25th of February 2026. We're, of course, looking at Messier 42 and 43, Great Nebula in Orion and the Conch Shell Nebula. And we're having to use the ASI image program, which doesn't allow for stacking, because the moon is so bright and so high in the sky that we're not detecting stellar presences in order to do stacking, which is going to diminish the quality of the images this evening, although I will attempt later on to see if I can't get image stacking to work. But first off, we've got to get a start right away, because everything is progressing sidereally so quickly. I need to get through NGC 2100 to 2000 to 2099 this evening to have a ghost of a chance, maybe we'll even see the ghost nebula, of being able to stay on track with the NGC catalog series that I've plotted out for the year in numeric succession. So let's move on. All right, to begin with this evening, we're going to get a lot of skippage because we are now traversing the Milky Way's galactic plane, which means there'll be very few galaxies, and the galaxies that are present are going to be well south of the celestial equator, most well south of the minus 30 degrees that I typically will range to during the NGC Tour. What we're looking at here, in fact, is the first NGC of note, and I am really pushing the magnification up to almost 300x because this is a planetary nebula, and it is in fact NGC 2022, planetary nebula in Orion. It's magnitude 11.7, small, which is why I had to push the magnification up, 28 by 27 arc seconds in size. Its central star should be visible, but we are not stacking, remember. This is ASI image. It's at magnitude 15.8. The planetary itself is 8,200 light years distance, which is 4 to 5 times the Ring Nebula. So if this was more in the distance of the Ring Nebula, it would be closer to 105 times 30, 150 or 2.5 degrees, which would be even larger than the Ring, I believe. We're at right ascension 5 hours, 42 minutes, 6 seconds with a declination of plus 9 degrees, 5 minutes, and 12 seconds for NGC 2022. You, of course, are recognizing this region of Orion. We have the Flame Nebula here. We vaguely suspect the Horsehead there. And we have NGC 2023, a reflective nebulosity in Orion, 10 by 8 arc minutes. It's both emissive and reflective, 1,500 light years distant. You know, everything pretty much in Orion seems to be between 1,300 and 1,600 light years distant. We're at RA 54138 with a declination of minus 2 degrees, 15 minutes, 32 seconds. And we have, yes, had much better images of this complex of nebulosities. NGC 2024, our next study, slightly east of NGC 2023, is at the Flame Nebula in Orion. 30 by 30 arc minutes, mean size, elliptical, emissive type, elliptical, galaxies, 1,500 light years distant. RA is 54142 with a declination of minus 1 degrees, 51 minutes, and 24 seconds. Okay, NGC 2026 is supposed to be an open cluster in Taurus. I suspect this is it. It simply says it's 7 arc minutes in size. Yeah, that qualifies. To right ascension, 5 hours, 43 minutes, 12 seconds with a declination of plus 20 degrees, 8 minutes, and 0 seconds. And let's move on. Okay, NGC 2039 is another open cluster. This one's in Orion. It's 3,000 light years distant. Right ascension is 544 aught with a declination of plus 8 degrees, 41 minutes, and 30 seconds. If we get to a more stellarly populated region, I will go ahead and attempt to switch over to ASI, the stacking ASI, which is called AIR. I believe this is called image. I may have that incorrect. Okay, very nice. This next study, NGC 2045, is simply declared a star. I believe it's in Taurus, but I'll try to tell you where it's located. And we are using ASI live stacking, which means I can use it for the rest of the evening. So that should be 2039. Okay, I was wrong on that. 2045, so star in Taurus. Let's have 5 hours, 45 minutes, 1 second with a declination of plus 12 degrees, 53 minutes and 16 seconds. We are now into ASI live stacking. Okay, you'll note the framing of the images now are different between ASI live and ASI image, which was the original program I had to use. After this, I will relaunch the Windows snipping tool to properly frame it because I can't reframe while I've already started imaging. What we're hoping to see here is NGC 2049. It's a galaxy in Colombo. I do believe that's it. Magnitude 12.8, 2 by 1 arc-minute spiral with a lowercase a, 130 million light years distant, puts it about 80,000 light years in diameter. We're at declination minus 30 degrees, 4 minutes and 42 seconds, and this will be our, we'll do, you know what, this is the 2049 and the 2000 to 249 sequence, but we're going to go through 2100 this evening, and it looks like the scope is not too far towards the west, so we should be able to even push beyond that. Thought I'd reframe the flame, NGC 2024, NGC 2023, and the Horsehead Nebula did not turn up, so maybe it was never listed as part of the NGC catalog, as I recall. However, now we're looking through AFI live stacking. I'm allowing it to set up the histogram according to its own designs. I can make some corrections when I make the final video. We have concluded through NGC 2049. We're going to push on to the 2050 to 99 series now. All right, now NGC 2063 is the first study accessible above minus 30 degrees and below 45 plus. 2063 is an open cluster in Orion. Now, I'm not sure where that would be. It's some 20 arc minutes in diameter, which pretty much means this central space in here. Typically, an open cluster should share some commonality as in terms of distance, and that usually comes down to how much reddening occurs, spectral characteristics, etc., etc. This one's 5,000 light years distant. It's at right ascension 546.43 with a declination of plus 8 degrees, 46 minutes and 54 seconds. It is, of course, being afflicted by that 8-day moon that's illuminating the sky's central third, but we need to move forward with our NGC Tour post-haste, given the progression of the season. Okay, NGC 2064 is a fairly identifiable nebula in Orion, also known, of course, as Messier. I believe it's 78. What I call Casper the Friendly Ghost Nebula. Its 10 by 10 arc-minute size reflective nebulosity 1,600 light-years distant. RA is 546.18 with a declination of a mere 21 seconds above the celestial equator. It is accompanied by a dark nebula here, unspecified, and a couple of brightish nebulas that I do believe have NGC numbers, but we actually should have landed on this one first, but it's kind of hard to say because this is further to the west. But I do believe 2064 is what I call Casper the Friendly Ghost, Messier 78. Okay, we're now on to this other fainter nebulosity here, not the faintest in this group. This is NGC 2067, nebula in Orion, emissive type, not reflective, 8 by 3 arc minutes, 1,600 light years distant. So all of this is forming in the same basic region of space, which I believe is the Orion subspiral arm of our Milky Way galaxy. So right ascension 546.31 with a declination of plus 7 minutes and 54 seconds. Okay, I was incorrect earlier. This is Messier 78, NGC 2068. Now, why we would have proceeded to this one, which is further east first, before that, NGC 2068 in the calendar, in the catalog, I do not know. NGC 2068 is also known as Messier 78, magnitude 6, 8 by 6 arc minutes of emissive type, 1600 light years distant. Right ascension is 546.45 with a declination of plus 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Let's do a little bit of zoomage on this entire set. I do not want to play with the histogram because otherwise I am spending a lot of time when I should be navigating the next study before we have to do it. We lose things for the evening. Anyway, Messier 78, NGC 2068. Okay, mystery resolved. This, in fact, is NGC 2071, and it is further east of Messier 78 and NGC 2068. I'll have to map all of these out for you in order to get them all straight in my own thinking. I suspect we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different nebulosities, and each has its own NGC designation. NGC 2071 is a magnitude 8, 7 by 5 arc minute, but purely reflective type, 1600 light years distant. RA 54707 with a declination of plus 17 degrees and 39 minutes. There is our overview flow, but there also is a faint nebulosity off here too. Anyway, it all needs to be mapped out. adventuresindeepspace.com. I consider Steve Gottlieb to be a very reliable, trustworthy source of information on such things. Okay, heading south towards the power lines and their diffracted light for NGC 2073, a galaxy in Lepus, the Hare. Magnitude 12.4. Should be able to pick it out on the screen. Let's go to 75X. Typically, things are further up in the screen, but here's our galaxy there. Well, that's interesting. Magnitude 12.4, 1.5 by 1.4 arc minute, lenticular spiral, pretty much face on, 134 million light years distant, puts this probably somewhere around 70,000 light years in diameter. RA is 545.53 with a declination of minus 21 degrees, 59 minutes, 59 seconds, and might as well be minus 22 degrees in celestial declination. NGC 2076, which I believe is visible there in the 30X screen, 20% E-zoom. Galaxy in Lepus, magnitude 13, 2.2 by 1.3 arc minute spiral with a lowercase a, so it's got a defined core. 99 million light years distant, puts it about 70,000 light years in diameter, maybe 60. RA is 5 hours, 46 minutes, 47 seconds, with a declination of minus 1646.56. And here we have our 105X view, which gives the best balance of magnification and aesthetics. And we will push this up to 150X before we bail. NGC 2089 is another galaxy in Lepus, quite apparent on the screen. Very small in size, of course. Magnitude 11.9, 1.9 by 1.2. This is a pretty small visible size galaxy for a magnitude 11.9. It's a spiral of the lenticular class and a bar, located at 5 hours, 47 minutes, 51 seconds. Here is our optimal view. Right ascent and declination of minus 17 degrees, 36 minutes, and 9 seconds. There's our view of NGC 2089. And the scope doesn't look like it's ready to flip anytime soon, but we're not going to get many views of far northern studies, unfortunately. Okay, what you're seeing here is a screen that says basically we're being blocked from seeing NGC 2099 at Open Cluster in Riga, also known as Messier 37, magnitudes of the stars 5.6, 24 arc minutes in size, some 150 stars, the brightest of which are magnitude 9.2. It's a class Roman numeral 2-1, which means it's fairly condensed, but the stars are of relatively equal brightness. 4,500 light years distant, RA 55218 with a declination of plus 32 degrees, 33 minutes, and 12 seconds. And I should remind myself to put an image of NGC 2099 on the screen from the skylive.com, where I recommend all observers go to. Because it gives you some nice 150x 30 arc minute size images of a scope that's probably roughly the equivalent in terms of photographic reach and everything else of about a 200-inch mount polymer telescope, but at a magnification that your eyeball can readily accept. And with that, I'm going to say carpe noctem.